Hello everyone. Today we are going to start with Unit 1 of Biology, Diversity in the Living World. Under this we have 4 more chapters in the upcoming part. But mainly in this video, I am going to focus on the basic introduction to biology and few more concepts which are related to biology. So let's begin our video. So the very first statement you can see here in NCERT. Biology is the science of life forms and living processes. So this is the basic definition given here, which we all are familiar with. We know biology is nothing but a study or a science of living organisms or life forms, which is having the life and also their living processes. What are the living processes? If we take some examples of living processes, it can be respiration, it can be excretion, locomotion, or we can talk about photosynthesis. There are different type of life processes which are associated with the living organisms. So all will be coming, each and everything. You can say, simply you can say all the metabolic or chemical interactions which are taking place inside the living organisms are dealt in this biology. The living world comprises an amazing diversity of living organisms. So here you can see that the author want to mention regarding the amazing diversity which is present around us. There is lot of diversity. Diversity, it is not only seen with the living organisms, but there is lot of diversity in each and everything which we observe around us. Like if we take the example of the habits of different organisms, like if you observe the singing of birds, or you can say the chirping of birds, the dancing of honeybees. We also have, there are certain animals which care their younger ones, just like humans do. Like different type of habits you can observe in living organisms. So there is diversity there. In the same way, if we talk about the habitats, if we consider, we have mountains, deserts, plains, different type of habitats, grasslands, aquatic. So all these different type of habitats are seen in this world. So there is lot of diversity not only about the living organism, but the associated environmental factors, or you can say different type of habits they have. Everything is diversified here. And the next statement says, early man could easily perceive the difference between inanimate matter and living organisms. So there is a misconception that early humans are having very little knowledge, but that is a misconception. Why? Because they are really brilliant, that they could easily observe and identify things better than the humans do today. Only difference is that they doesn't have any scientific evidence or sophistication like us. That is the only difference. Early man, with their observation, they have divided this living or non-living in the name of inanimate matter and animate matter. So what do you mean by inanimate matter here? Which is generally immobile, which is non-living, like wind, sea, fire, etc. And the living matter, that is animals and plants, which will show the mobility. So in that way, they have simply defined things in those days. And later, the description of living organisms, including human beings, began much later in human history. So they felt or you can say the human beings didn't describe any other animals or living organisms, or felt the necessity to identify these organisms in the prehistoric times. But later on, while the humans started exploring each and every living organisms, when they go on identifying the living organisms, due to its vast diversity and confusion, they thought of having a particular system to identify and to name the organisms. Societies which indulged in anthropocentric view of biology could register limited progress in biological knowledge. So here the author wanted to state that there is a very narrow mindset in the prehistoric and also the post historic times. Early humans, or you can say when they formed societies in that at that time, they are very narrow minded, and they thought that this world is created only for the humans, which is called as anthropocentric view. Here I have underlined this, and anthropocentric view. So what do you mean by anthropocentric? It is nothing but it is a selfish mindset of humans, or you can say human centered perspective that places humans as the most important entities. So, because of this anthropocentric view of biology, the result which we got, or the biological knowledge, the progress in the biological knowledge is also reduced. And later on, the systematic and monumental description of life forms brought in out of necessity detailed system of identification, nomenclature and classification. So as I said earlier, there is lot of diversity which has been observed since a long time. So they thought that there should be some systematic placement to these organisms so that the further generations can easily explore, easily compare and study them. So due to the monumental means on a large scale. So there is lot of diversity. Monumental is nothing but on a large scale. Systematic and monumental description of life forms brought in out of necessity. Brought in out of necessity. So what do you mean by this? So it has brought in due to the necessity because of the monumental means the large scale identification of organisms that led to the identification, nomenclature and classification. So the humans during the time, they thought that there should be a name given to them. So when there is a name given for a particular organism, identification is nothing but comparing with the other organisms. Nomenclature is nothing but naming the organism. And classification, what do you mean by classification? You are giving a place or a position to the organism. Just like in any particular organization, professional organizations, if you take, there is a classification or a hierarchy based upon their abilities. In the same way, for each and every living organism, there is a system where we are going to arrange them in a particular order. So, what are the three major rules which are playing a major part in exploring the organisms? There are three important steps. One is identification, nomenclature, and classification. What is the first one? Identification. So how do you identify the organism? When you compare with the pre-existing organisms or ancestral form of organisms, it is very easy for us to identify the new organism of our interest. And the second one being nomenclature. Just we all have our identification by our names. If you see, for each and every animal, plant, fungi, virus, whatever it is, it may be. So each and every living organism which is made up of cell, which we call it as a living organism, it is given a specific name. Along with that, the last one being classification. So once you identify, once you name, the last step is being the classification here. So how do you classify? Based upon its structure, its anatomy, or maybe its ancestral relationship, it will be placed or presented in a particular order, which is called as classification. So these are the three basic rules which are followed in biology to explore or to know a particular organism. The biggest spin off of such studies was the recognition of the sharing of similarities among living organisms, both horizontally and vertically. So, this is very important statement which is given here. It may be a question in future in your NEET exam. Why? Because there are two new words which you observe here: horizontal and vertical classification of organisms. So, what is the meaning of this statement? There is a change in studies or recognition based upon the similarities among the living organisms, both horizontally and vertically. So, here the statement says that the organisms are being compared in a horizontal fashion as well as vertical fashion. So, what actually this horizontal and vertical comparison system? So, when you compare the organism, when you place them in a particular order, like I have said it before, like in a particular organization based upon their abilities, they will be given a specific like rank. It can be a general manager, deputy manager, or clerk, assistant. So, in this way, even for a particular living organisms, vertical placement is nothing but the hierarchy which is given or rank to a particular organism given based upon their structure and ancestral relationship. For this, to easily understand this, if you remember the concept of classification which you have studied in the lower classes, so there we study about kingdom, phylum, class, order, domain, family, species, genus. So all these are the ranks which are particularly given to the living organisms based upon the anatomy, you can say the structure, their morphology, or it can be the ancestral relationship. So that is called as the vertical classification system. Sometimes even it refers to the arrangement of organisms from a microscopic level to the macroscopic level. Say, it will start with the microscopic cell. Cell to, we all know cells are gathered together to form a tissue, tissue to tissue system, organs, organ system, organism, population, biosphere. So in this way also you can be giving the ranking of the living organisms. So both these will be coming under the vertical categorization. Then when we talk about the horizontal categorization or horizontal like we can say similarities, when you compare in a horizontal fashion, here mainly we are talking about the interaction of the particular living organisms with other organisms as well as its interactions with the environment. So horizontal classification is nothing but we are talking about a particular group of species. It can be group of genus, group of population which they are interacting among themselves, that is called as interrelationship in between them in a particular ecosystem. So we are talking about the interactions with the ecosystem as well, that is environment. So here there is two types of relationship: inter relationship in between them, intra relationship in between different species at a particular time in a particular space, and also their interactions with the environment. Is it clear? So here I just want to tell you that so there are two ways how we define the organisms and we give a particular status to this organism in the biology, that is vertical classification system and horizontal classification system. And what I have told you about the vertical classification system, it includes, vertical classification system includes, it can be of two types. One, I have told you, it will start with the microscopic level from the cell till the organism, and there is another way of classifying the organisms starting with the domain, the highest rank which we give for a particular organism, to the species which is the lowest rank. That is one type of classification. And there is another way, the horizontal way. We will be considering the organisms in a horizontal classification system as well. Here what you will do, how you will study the organism. The organism is studied during a particular time and during particular time frame, and also the particular place. Say for example, if you are studying about the species in a particular forest or in a particular ecosystem, say you are studying about the different species present in the forest ecosystem, or you can say in a particular pond ecosystem. So different type of ecosystem here means the place, and also it defines the time. So there is a particular time and place where you are studying the organism. So there not a single organism is present. So whatever the organism of interest is there for you, but you will be trying to compare the similarities and dissimilarities between the different organisms present in that particular area and their relationship, how they interact with each other. And also you will consider what are the major, what you can say, exchange that is happening between the environment and those species. Okay, so in total it is nothing but the interactions between the species and also with the environment. So that will come under the horizontal classification system. So while we are learning or exploring a particular organism, so we will consider both vertical classification as well as the horizontal classification. Vertical classification, it includes ranking the organism based upon the structure, anatomy, morphology, different characters, similarities and dissimilarities you will consider. So based upon their appearance, structure, you will be placing them, you will be giving a rank. And also we will be considering the ancestral properties or ancestral relationship with those organisms. And when we talk about the horizontal classification system, in horizontal classification system we are going to bother about the species in a particular time frame, in a particular time period, and along with the environmental factors which are interacting with those species. So this is very important. There are only two words, horizontal and vertical, but maybe some questions will be given in your NEET exam, so I have explained it briefly. So next, coming to the next statement, that all present day living organisms are related to each other and also to all organisms that ever lived on this earth. So here they are talking about the evolution process. So we belong to our ancestors. That is what the statement says. It was a revelation which humbled man and led to the cultural movements for conservation of biodiversity. So with increase in the knowledge, when they understood that here humans are not created directly, or they are not born directly onto this earth's surface, there is some sort of progress that has been taking place since many thousands, or you can say millions of years, which led to the evolution of a human race. So when they came to understand about the evolution of human race, it humbled the man. Humbled means it bring down the nature of the man, and led them to the thought that even the other organisms are also very important when they are present on the earth's surface, when they are interacting with the environment, when they are interacting with the other species. They understood that it is very important to conserve other living forms just like them. So this is how the humans slowly understood the importance of conservation of biodiversity. So initially there is no thought. They simply said that this earth and all this biodiversity, whatever they are enjoying in the nature, it is purely made for the humans, and only the humans are the supreme ones. But later, due to the understanding the concepts of evolution, and also understanding or you can say the relationship between the ancestors and humans, slowly this humbled the human beings, and it improved the thought that each and every organism on the earth's surface is very important along with us. So conservation of biodiversity is the major concern. In the following chapters of this unit, the description including classification of animals, plants from a taxonomist perspective will be studied. So this is the last statement, is the end of the video here. So in this last statement, what it is given in the following chapter, we are mainly going to study about the classification of animals, classification of plants from a taxonomist perspective. Taxonomist is a person who is having knowledge in taxonomy, and taxonomy is nothing but a branch of biology which deals with the identification, classification and nomenclature of the organisms. So there are certain rules and principles which are laid in biology, especially the taxonomy. So we have to follow these rules to identify, name and classify the organisms. So in the further part, we are going to study about the taxonomy. And here you have to understand that this taxonomy will be considering both horizontal as well as vertical classification system. Both are considered in the taxonomy. So this is the end of the video. We'll meet in the next video. Thank you.